So the reason I brought up Grover, first of all, I don't want it to seem that I'm vilifying Grover. I'm sure I've absolutely never met him, and I'm sure he's a wonderful guy. I believe Senator Brown's a wonderful guy. I believe you're wonderful people. I love Republicans. Republicans in my family, right? I mean, that's what everybody says. I have this in my family. But I think it's important to recognize that Republicans across this country signed a pledge, and so there's no starting point for a discussion, and there's no way to come to a compromise when you're not even willing to have the discussion. And the only, going back to the Senate race, which we're not supposed to be doing because this is about the president's debate tonight, I would simply say that raising Grover Norquist is again to say, how can you say that you're a moderate when you won't even have the discussion with the other party on a solution that's both raising revenues and cutting spending? I see Rossi wants to respond to this. 1 second, Rossi. And talking about, and the other thing that he mentioned is being desperate because we're talking as Democrats in the state about Republicans who could possibly take leadership roles in committees that are going to directly affect Massachusetts voters. I think that's an important discussion to have. I think that's an important thing to bring up. I certainly think that whether it's the president's race, the Senate race, any race, it should be about the two sides, the two opponents and their views. But I think it's also important to recognize that it goes beyond the state, and it's the entire country, and the people that will be in these committees, people that don't believe in sound science, that don't trust science. I mean, it just blows my mind.
I'll say two things. Ross is jumping in the videos. There's a couple things. If you raise taxes even by a modest amount, and it's such a modest amount that Democrats want to raise it back to the magical Bill Clinton tax rates, you won't even address 10% of the deficit. 10%, that's it. It's the best you're going to do, and that's the best case scenario. Okay, so 90% of our problem is spending. And the pledge that a lot of Republicans have taken to not raise taxes, it's not to Grover Norquist. You don't pledge to Grover Norquist. You pledge to every person who pays taxes in this country. And when you're living in states like Massachusetts and New York, where when you add it all up, you're paying well over 50% of what you earn to the government, and you see waste at every turn, you see gross abuse at every turn, that's when people start to get upset. And the fact is, Tina mentioned Obamacare and how it will reduce costs. That's not going to happen. It's not happening now. Costs are going to continue to go up. And Medicare is one of the major things that actually gets hit by Obamacare because it's defunded by $716 billion. So, yeah, and it's a fact.
No, it's not.
No, it is.
I don't mean to interrupt, Chad. That was the first time.
You can follow me. You can follow. I'll tweet it out later. But Ross, I'll let Ross say what he needs to say.
Not to keep coming back to the Senate race, but I think just to bring it to a national level. First of all, that would be like, Scott Brown talking a lot about someone like Harry Reid, who barely squeaked by in his re-election campaign against probably one of the most feckless campaigners in American Senate campaign history. Well, I take that back. 2010 Massachusetts had a special election and also had a really bad campaign. We're not here to get into that. But, it's funny because, on the national level, when Republicans bring up people from Barack Obama's past, like Tony Rezko, it's sort of this automatic, oh my God, no, don't touch that. That's, you can't talk about that because this is a race about ideas and facts and things. So I think it's funny, you guys can bring all kinds of people into the mix, and this is what happens when this and that and the other thing. But if a Republican ever tries to do it, then all of a sudden you want to talk about facts again. It's just, it's an interesting sort of way of looking at campaigns is how Democrats play it, how Republicans play it. And I don't think any Republican, you'll never meet a Republican who is going to apologize to you for not wanting to raise taxes, and Senator Brown is foremost among those. He has said, and says at every campaign stop, that he will not raise taxes, he hasn't, he won't.
Respond and we'll go to that point. Okay. So I would actually say that I agree if you want to bring up Harry Reid or any other elected official who in a committee could, have an effect on Massachusetts voters, I'm completely comfortable with them being brought up in any campaign. You know, Jeff made a comment about raising taxes, and that would get us about, maybe get us about 10% of the way there. I have no way of fact checking that here, but let's suppose he's right. That gets us 10% of the way there, but Republicans aren't even willing to do that if we're willing to give 90% in cuts in spending.
That's mythical. Nobody's even, I mean, there's zero cuts in spending. It's not on the table for Obama. It is not going to happen. Nobody's cut spending. Federal spending has skyrocketed. And
John, can you give some more of the showman's of verification? We're good? You guys good? Okay.